Are they going to make any changes to the instant replay system, do you think, to make sure what happened in the NFC Championship game never happens again? Do you think that will actually happen over the next 24 hours, Mike?
We're still waiting to see, Rich. One thing, though, is I know there's been some reporting on this, and I've heard the exact same thing, that Sean Payton, as you would guess, just one of my favorite guys in the league, by the way, just a really good, smart coach whose Saints got royally screwed last year in the playoffs. So obviously Sean Payton is still upset about that, understandably, and he's been really passionate and vocal behind the scenes about trying to get some changes done with that. There's always, you know this, you've been around the league a long time, there's always resistance initially to certain changes, to change in general from a league that moves at times at a very glacial pace when it comes to changing on many different levels. And some of that is happening now. I think there's just owners that are sort of a little bit nervous about doing anything drastic. But having said that, I think there's a lot of support behind it. I don't know if any changes are going to pass or not, but I think there's owners who realize that you need to sort of modernize the game and make the game advance as people's viewing habits advance. We can see very easily now, if you watch a game on TV, what the proper call is now. Most people are so educated in a lot of the calls, you can see what's going on. So you have to account for that. You can't just act like it doesn't exist.
I know, but
that's the thing.
And I know, and that's part of the issue here, where one of the more influential owners, in John Mara, says, we shouldn't take the onside kick and turn it into a 4th and 15 play from either the 25 or the 35 because they're not the Arena League. To me, that's out of touch. And then you've got coaches who vote unanimously, apparently, at their meeting, 32-0, to let some official that's already sitting upstairs make a ruling on a play that needs to be reviewed, sort of like a sky judge, like the AAF has, which I don't like because I don't see a challenge flag. I'm sitting at home, and then all of a sudden I think a play that doesn't get challenged is being challenged by somebody that buzzes in from some, from underneath, Zed's chopper shop. You know what I mean? Like that's right. What I'm saying. Like we don't know, we don't see where this person's coming from. Let's just let the coaches, I know they've got enough on their hands, but let them use a challenge flag. Keep the challenge universe the same, just to get you the third. You don't expand that. And that if you do give them a challenge for something that's a judgment call and they get it wrong, then penalize them yards on top of losing the challenge. And boom, you make the last 2 minutes some sort of rule where it has to be a blatant call to have somebody buzz in from New York City. And then we have an argument what blatant is, but we all know what blatant looks like, sort of like the famed phrase about what pornography is, for the lack of a better phrase. I think we can all work this out, Mike.
I think you just did.
Good.
I think you just.
Well, makes two of us then.
Figured it all out.
That's it.
But the problem is the league and one of the interesting parts of this is coaches used to always be the ones that wanted to move very slowly because they were more affected directly. They had to manage all these changes that owners and GMs will put in place, and coaches always wanted to move a little bit slower. Now I feel like the coaches are sort of leading the charge. Some of it is self-centered, of course, because if you lose a game the way the Saints did, that is brutal. But I also think it's what Sean Payton and some of these other coaches are doing is smart. It's really just sort of saying, let's just keep moving forward into the modern, into the 21st century. Keep the game interesting. Keep it moving forward. And you know what, though, Rich? I would say what the owners are thinking in some ways is look at how popular the game is. Look at it. I mean, have we lost some viewers? We have. But look at the numbers we're getting. Look at how many people watch. And I don't want to screw with that. I want to keep that going the way it is. And that's not an unfair argument, but eventually that stuff catches up to you, and eventually you do have to adapt and keep just saying, this is the 21st century. Let's change some things up. Not going to kill us. It'll probably make the game more exciting, and it won't look like the Arena League. It'll look like the NFL football that we love because they have NFL caliber athletes who make the game look as powerful, as fun, and as graceful as it is at times.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.